And we are live now. I believe we on now. Let me go ahead and check and make sure we got everybody coming in the room. Yes, man. How you doing this evening? Yeah, man. We got a lot to talk about, man. You know what? A lot of people were we were looking at some of our messages from I would say, man, you know that show that we did earlier. I would say, well, we did that show in like November when we were talking about when Nas win his first Grammy. So I'm seeing a lot of comments on that one where people are like, yo, y'all need to do a follow-up episode about Nas winning his first Grammy.
Welcome to some of the follow up. We got too much shit to talk about.
We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. We don't have a whole lot of time. We're going to welcome everybody into the room. First off, man, congratulations to Kanye West and his,
Make time.
what's that?
So we're gonna make time. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. We got a lot to talk about, man. Congratulations to Kanye West being worth $6.6 billion and being a person that comes from hip hop and coming from the ground up. You know what? I think this is really special to Kanye West and his fans and people who are fans of hip hop, regardless of what you think about the individual. We saw this man, depending on how old you are, we saw this man come from wanting to convince people that he could rhyme. No, actually, wanting to sell beats to people. You know what I'm saying? And then trying to convince people that he could actually rhyme and was good enough to be an artist to this, man. I mean, what a story. And you know what I think is really telling and very interesting that, weeks before we've seen people sell their businesses and, accumulate wealth in that way. And from the hip hop community at large, they get all these congratulations. They get all these posts from everybody in the hip hop community. And it's unfortunate that we've seen none of these individuals congratulate Mr. Kanye West. And, we don't have to name any names. I think everyone can use their imagination. But a lot of these people, actually not a lot of these people, all of these people, Kanye West has helped throughout their career, whether it was through production, whether it was through features, whether it was through, just letting them on his albums that were already selling like hotcakes. It's unfortunate that his peers haven't given him that same courtesy of congratulations. And, it's mind-boggling to me, especially some of the ones whose careers that he resurrected. No pun intended. What do you think?
Oh, you're so shady. Comment, anybody? What do I think?
Why do you think? Let's go there. Why do you think that hip hop hasn't congratulated Kanye West in the ways that other people have gotten congratulations for far less? This man has become, the wealthiest Black American in the history of America.
It's fascinating, don't you think?
It's very fascinating.
Called him crazy. Fascinating how many people called him crazy. I'm going to capitulate to that too and consider myself to be a part of that at times. Not about his business sense though. When I meant like he was going off the deep end, I meant like musically. Like a lot of people was talking about like, no, like Ye's off the deep end, like period. But I mean, how off the deep end is he really? Or is he just like true? Is he truly independent of form, mechanism, and thought in terms of like how this society works, how branding works, how marketing works? Like is he just like truly independent and free of form of that? And what we're seeing after 15 to 20 years of this is the payoff in building.
It is. And, everything seems to be a little bit calculated, too, in a lot of the things that he's done all the way down to the Sway Rant at this point. Gosh, we got a misprint on the title. Let me fix that real quick. And I'm going to go to some of the comments, too, because I think that we need a discussion on this whole thing anyway, man. Earl Easy Mo says, Ye turned his back on the culture a long time ago. Where exactly did Kanye turn his back on the culture? And again,
you might be talking about the whole MAGA hat thing.
Okay, that's all right. We can get to the MAGA hat thing, but is turning your back on the culture meeting with the president of the United States and making obviously he went extra in that meeting, or is turning back on your culture selling people's contracts to get your own masters, or tricking Prince into actually, exclusively having his music on your streaming platform and selling it to Jack Dorsey. So we need to clarify exactly what turning your back on the culture means, because a lot of these guys, if we're going to be balanced, have done far more egregious things in turning their back on the culture than walking into an elevator with Trump. I'm just saying.
So is Ye unfairly ostracized by us?
I believe so.
It's starting to look that way, isn't it? Like I can't speak for others, feeling a little guilty right now about the level that I even ostracize him about certain things. Not the MAGA hat thing. If you want to talk about like the whole MAGA thing, like if you're fucking with Trump at all, like I don't fuck with you.
Right.
If meeting with the president like means you're not for our culture, and that means Eazy-E wasn't for our culture because he met with Ronald Reagan, who is probably the worst person for black people since Trump.
All of the guys met with Barack Obama, but we don't give them shit for it.
I mean, like half the rap industry was at the send off for Obama.
They were out there, Common as well, out there in the White House performing, and this is one thing too about Common and that situation. I think we don't even have to go into detail what all Kanye West has done for Common's career. I think everyone who knows hip-hop knows this shit, right? I mean, the fact that Barack Obama called Kanye West a jackass, and you out there campaigning for his vice president and performing in the White House and all that stuff, it's weird, but whatever. Anyway, as far as social justice that everyone seems to be fighting for, and Common's one of those as well, they're not putting that same pressure on that person whose White House they were performing in and, dancing a jig. So, look, what are we really meeting with people for? And if that makes you, like you said, turning your back on the culture, if that makes people turning their back on the culture, then a lot of those guys have done it. Because they didn't go in that White House when a certain person was in there and ask for what was necessary.
Hold on, when you're so you're saying, so like let's take somebody like Pusha T who was there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he not for the culture now because he chose to attend that event? Because that's pretty big stuff to rub elbows like that.
And again, one could be, and I'm a Pusha T fan. We both are. You know that. One could be super critical of Pusha T for sitting there campaigning for Hillary Clinton with everything that she pushed for when we're talking about 3 strikes. And a lot of people that affected that he rubs shoulders with, and the music that he puts out there and the stories that he's told.
Not to veer too far off, but this is part of the reason why I went independent, and I understand their train of thought, because really what we're taught as blacks from our circumstances to pick the lesser of the 2 evils, which is to pick the most viable Democrat that has the chance to win. And, I'm literally independent now because it's like I'm tired of picking the lesser of 2 evils and belonging to it.
Well,
and
yeah,
so
but I think that
I'm not going to knock these guys for habitually and environmentally how we've been raised to think. Like, that's a cultural thing.
I think the thing is, I think with any entertainer, and these guys are smart people. They've been in the industry for a long time. They know a lot of the inside things that people on the outside don't know. When you become an entertainer and you start to mingle with politicians, it becomes, it elevates them, but it makes you look like a hypocrite in many ways. You can't straddle that line. No one has been able to straddle that line of politics and entertainment seamlessly. And it only works out for the politicians. Ask Killer Mike what's going on,
No, I was actually about to say it's cultural. It's cultural, Mike, but it's also culturally problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I get it. I think everybody kind of goes out there and does it for their own reasons. And that, coming back to Kanye did what he did at that White House and his relationship with Trump for his own reasons as well, just like everyone else who went into the White House for their own reasons. And it's what it is.
No, so I understand what you're saying. So let's go back to Pusha T. Like, he had a track where he was talking about like all the, trucks of water that he had sent to Flint.
Mm-hmm.
Part of how you make moves like that happen is through that network and that pipeline. That's what I mean. It's like you're kind of picking an evil, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like in order to get your good out of it, you kind of have to go through certain channels. It's easier done through that channel.
Okay.
When you get to go to the White House and rub elbows, that makes it easier for you to get truckloads of water sent to Flint, Michigan. You feel what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
So it's about what you do with the network and with the connection. That's why I brought up Pusha T, because I saw, and you can hear it in his rhymes if you follow him the way that we do, because we're big fans of his. I mean, he's been my favorite MC post Nas's prime, so I literally listen to everything that he makes.
Right.
And so when I hear him talking like that, and I can line it up to a time where he's made certain connections and affiliations and is doing Adidas ads with, you know what I'm saying, with primetime athletes and stuff. He's doing something positive with it on the back end that you don't necessarily hear about. So I don't have a problem with it because I can see the purpose. It's not just about him being my favorite MC. It's like I can see the purpose behind it.
Well, let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say that meeting with that Kanye West took with Donald Trump really put him in position to be worth $6.6 billion and put him in position to create those American jobs that he's trying to create. And not to mention, let's just say, hypothetically, Dame Dash Studios, with the support of a Kanye West, becomes one of the major black-owned studios and creates even more jobs. Was that meeting worth it? That's what politics is. And, you know, and at the end of the day, a lot of our favorite artists and who are making moves, they're making deals with people who are very egregious individuals, but because we don't know them publicly, no one says anything about that. And not to mention that, you know, again, in this situation, he's been able to retain everything that he needs to retain, and he didn't have to sell anybody's masters or publishing to do it. And I think that's respectable, and it should be commended. Unfortunately, you know, people who are artists themselves, for whatever reason, aren't highlighting those things. And I think because he passed these niggas up, a lot of them came around before him.
Oh, he's passed all of them up. One of the things that crossed my mind when I heard this is like, has his legend exceeded Jay's?
Yes.
That's hard.
And I think Jay's one of the, and you know me, I think Jay's the best to ever do it. But when we talk about impact and we talk about now business acumen, because that was the one thing that Jay could really hold his hat on. Right. Outside of his prime.
That's what I mean. Like I've always told you, like Mike Jay's not my favorite MC ever. But if we're talking about the business acumen and the moves he made and how quick he made them and how he accumulated it and vacillated it like a multitude of ways, like yeah.
And not to mention his ability to create without having outside people involved. Not to mention the trends that he set, not to mention the people that he's revived and brought the best out of. I mean, he's still going, man. He's built a very, very interesting legacy. And the way he did it. Like I said, I always felt like Kanye West snuck in the game. He wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't.
Game's soft like a pickle, B. He snuck in.
He snuck in, man. You know?
Hey, you want to know what? You know what my favorite song is on Daytona? It's What Would Meek Do.
Is it?
I love Kanye's verse.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of called his shot, Mike. What did he say? He said, "Bag of hats, help me slide like a drive-through." What else did he say, Mike? There was something very else important that he said in there. He said, "You got to watch who you calling crazy."
Hey.
The newest billion-dollar
baby. I won't feel right till I feel like Phil Knight. What?
Right. Going for 6 rings like Phil told Mike.
6?
7 nights. You know what that feels like. No more hiding my scars. I show him like Seal. Oh, that's some of his best shit. But Mike, when I heard it a few times, I was like, oh, he calling his shot. Like, and he did. He called his shot.
Yeah.
You can go check the rhyme.
When he went out there and tweeted that he was $53 million in debt, people laughed. Like, and none of his peers came to his rescue on that either. Nobody was like, yo, man, we got to get, Ye back on. I'm with you, my brother. Whatever. It's odd, man. I mean, I've never seen somebody who came in the game clearly as an outsider, right? And you got to believe that a lot of these people I mean, the industry people, they heard his stuff. They heard him. They heard they heard Jesus Walks and all these records. And you know how he says at the end of College Dropout that, you know, people heard Jesus Walks and passed up on it. The executives aren't the only ones. They heard this guy. Like, there's clips of him in the studio rapping at Pharrell, where Pharrell's just not even paying any attention to him.
Hey, Mike, I just thought about something. Is Jesus Walks a top 10 rap song ever?
I don't think so, but it's great. I mean, I think it's important. It's important, very, very.
I mean, that's very groundbreaking. It's a groundbreaking song. Like, no
Yeah.
hip hop artist has ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's groundbreaking. And a lot of the stuff that he's done is groundbreaking, but that was a big one. And
It's still his most groundbreaking moment to me.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, to see him come in as an outsider and now be at the, I mean, let's just keep it real, at the top of the food chain, and still as an outsider,
Very cool.
that is so wild to me, man. Like,
Like, how about this? Here's how it go. Like, tell Oprah my jet's coming to pick her up, to fly her into my crib so she can interview me.
yeah, all these guys talk about, they all brag about rubbing shoulders with billionaires and stuff. Well, here we go. Y'all gonna rub shoulders with Ye now? Y'all should be happy, man. When Dre sold beats, when Dre and Jimmy Iovine sold beats to Apple Music, there was congratulations from everywhere, as it should be. That's
Everywhere.
Dr. Dre.
It was a love fest.
It was a love fest.
It was epic, Mike. I was like,
Yes.
damn, I'm like, niggas really love Dre.
And-
Like,
and-
everywhere I turned for like a whole day, it was like other stars. Like, Mike, I was like, it was cats that didn't even, like, had
Yeah.
never even gotten beat from Dre. Like,
Yeah.
those cats had never even gotten beats from Dre that was shouting Dre out.
and a couple of weeks ago, when Jay did the deal with Moet and Hennessy, congratulations from everywhere. Oh, and
So,
last
like-
week with the Versus thing, congratulations from everywhere. And Ye basically surpasses this in one chess move and beats all of that combined, and it's silence.
No, it was. See, it was chess. It was actually about 2 or 3 moves that he planned strategically that
Oh, yeah.
people were calling him crazy for, because he really was playing chess.
Well, this is where I want to go to before we get off of this.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. I was about to say. I think we're about to ask each other the same thing. What is it saying about the industry and who's in cahoots with who that Dre and Jay are getting this type of love, but Ye just became pretty much the richest black man we've ever known, and it's like crickets up in this motherfucker.
He didn't sell anything, right?
Like his soul.
right.
Yeah.
He's still operating his business. That's just an evaluation
Always
of what his
that.
business is worth and the stake that he has in it. So I think that there has to be a level of envy to this. There's nothing else to really explain. You know, the interesting thing is everything that Kanye received in this game, outside of, you know, his skill set, when it came to the Grammys, when he felt like he got robbed, he let it be known. And then he started getting Grammys. Actually, he has the most Grammys of everybody. I think him and Jay are tied at 22 or something. So you got that, right? And I think for most artists who are like him, who, you know, are socially aware and, you know, just made music from the approach that he made it, a lot of the music and skill set got slept on. Common's one of them. Talib's one of them. But he didn't allow the industry to sleep on his shit. He kept going into people's face like, yo, I'm dope. You're missing out. And he did the same thing with clothing when he was going out there on these rants. And Sway told him he should do t-shirts, right? And he told them, this is how I need to do this. And this is what I need to do this. People were telling him he was wrong.
I'm going to make a comparison right quick in terms of how he came in the game. He came in very in a similar fashion to the way Tupac did. He really kind of earned his keep and paid his dues to get his chance. And when people first heard him, not a lot of people could foresee what he was about to become. Like when you hear Tupac on a same song on what is that, Sex Package from Digital Underground?
Yeah.
Like when you're hearing that, like you don't know that he's about to become the most influential figure in the history of hip
You
hop.
don't.
Much like with Ye, who you honestly have to say is a rival to Tupac in that, in terms of most influential and impact. Like you didn't see those two dudes coming, but those are dudes that actually played the background for many years and paid their dues. Tupac was a fucking dancer.
Yeah. Dagman says, y'all really believe that he's the richest, like Robert Smith don't exist. Robert Smith's worth $6 billion, incredible. And Kanye is worth 6.6. So, 6.6 is a little bit more than 6, but, it is what it is.
Mike, when you're saying 6.6 billion, isn't that 0.6 like $1 million?
Yeah, it's like $600 million.
Okay, that matters.
No, it's not $6 million. It's 600. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I've been slipping a little bit. Like that's $600 million difference. Did you say it's a $600 million difference?
Yeah, currently. And not to say that couldn't change or anything. Obviously these things always fluctuate. But at this point, yes, he is number one. And, shout out to the great Robert Smith, though.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference. But, all right, plugs 2. What were your thoughts on that?
Grammys or plugs 2? I thought we were going Grammys.
Oh, we're going to go Grammys? All right. Yeah, let's go Grammys. No.
I think people want to hear about plugs.
All right. What were your thoughts on plugs 2? First listen.
First listen? I love the beat selection. That was the first thing that I thought. I was like, this is his best beat selection. I went back and listened to Tana Talk 3. It doesn't feel like the sequel to Plugs. It feels more like an extension of Tana Talk.
I agree.
But, yeah. And so I would compare it more to Tana Talk 3 in terms of content and beat selection. Tana Talk 3 is my favorite album of his. I would put this right here. It's better than the original Plugs to me. There's no oh my God moment like Crowns for Kings with Thought.
Right.
There's not that moment on here where both of those guys, you're just like, you're not gonna find hip hop better than that, period.
Right.
But outside of that, I thought it was better than the original Plugs. I love the beat selection. He was in pocket. And here's just something that I want to say. When I was talking about Burden of Proof, and I think you feel the same way too, we prefer to hear him over these style of beats and on tracks like this because he appears to fucking snap more on beats like these.
He sounds a lot more comfortable on beats like these. I feel like if we're talking about comparing this and Burden of Proof, I think we were talking offline, Burden of Proof sounded like it was his mission to kind of appeal to more people than what Griselda normally appeals to. And I think that was probably guided by the fact that Hit Boy produced the whole album. So maybe he was kind of adjusting more to Hit Boy, whereas I feel like Harry Fraud might have been adjusting a little bit more to what we were saying, what we know Benny can do. And the lane that we know Benny to go. Because, again, the beat selection is... I thought it was really dope. I think we talked about this offline as well. Of all the Griselda members, it seems that Benny keeps having a single producer, produce the whole thing. I don't know if that's because he needs, that kind of direction from producer more than the other two guys. Because Westside and Conway, they pick beats very well. It's...
Did you read that article that you sent me?
I did not, but shout out to William though. You know what I'm saying? We sent him a yearbook or whatever. He's good people.
Yeah. I got a funny story about the yearbook when we're wrapping up.
But, no. Tell me about the article you read.
So the Benny article is really fascinating because when you made the comment to me about the whole one producer thing, he made a comment in the article. Did Will write that article?
Yeah.
That was a really dope and introspective article. I'm a writer too. I love dope articles. I don't see too many of them. So when you talk to Will or if he sees this, that was a dope ass article. It was very introspective. It was a great interview.
And that was on NPR, by the way. You know what I'm saying? People want to check that article out.
No. Yeah. Check them out. Give them some love because I actually read that from beginning to end, and it's rare that I do that.
Yeah.
Benny talked about how when he works on a project, even if it's a multitude of producers, he wants them to work as one.
Okay.
So so he referenced like how pretty much like Derringer and Alchemist did Tana Talk, but like you know what I'm saying? Like he was like, but it was like a unit thing, and so he
Mm.
does prefer that one setting, one vision, one mindset type of thing. He's not like a pull apart from a lot type of guy in terms of a beat, maybe like West Side or Conway are. It's like I think I'm gonna go sit over here and fuck with this guy for 2 weeks and be out and take what I got from here and pick the best of that and go. Like it appears they move more
Yeah.
like that, and he more wants the feel of putting the album together. The results on this was better. Another thing that was fascinating about the article is that he recorded a lot of these songs in the process of recording Burden of Proof. So it's like he's over here with Hit Boy, then he's over here with Harry Fraud. So I guess he's over here getting his
Mm.
industry shit out, and then he's over here getting his street shit out. Because you want to know what I thought about? You know what my favorite Benny track is, right?
Rubber Bands of Weight is mine. What's yours?
Same album, 97 Hove.
97 Hove is dope too. And
97
see,
Hove was my
again,
favorite
you know,
Benny.
when you mentioned Tana Talks 3, I was like, you know, I couldn't put this above Tana Talks 3 because of songs like
It's
that
not.
that would just stand out.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. There's no 97 over Rubber Bands and Weight,
Mm-mm.
but there are a lot of tracks that are right below that. Like
Yeah.
This album has a lot of tracks that are right below that, but it's not Tana Talk 3. And Tana Talk is really a full length play. Like,
Yeah.
that's like 45 minutes or so of like some like, you know what I mean? And so he's going in. It's well
Yeah.
put together. The beats are hard, but like this is right there with it.
But you
Yeah.
know what another thing that I came away with on this is, you know, we always talk about how Griselda kind of breathes air into the game. Like the features on there, with the exception of French Montana, 2 Chainz feature and Fat Joe was going for it. Even the Chinks feature, you know what I'm saying? Like, these guys, you could tell they inspire guys who've been around.
Mike, that got brought up in the article that your man Will did with the interview.
I need to go
about how,
read this
cats
article.
go in- about how cats go in when
Yeah.
they get in with Griselda. So I just pulled up the track list right quick. Chink snap, 2 Chainz snap,
Mhm.
Fat Joe snap. Mike, that Jim Jones verse.
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's like I don't know if I've ever heard Jim Jones rap better, Mike.
Yeah,
Have
man.
you? Have you ever heard Jim Jones rap better than
Off
that,
the
Mike?
top of my head, I can't think of it, man. These guys,
Snap.
that is what is amazing about what they're doing. They're inspiring people who have been here.
Rick Hyde's verse was hard. I was like,
You know, and you know, no disrespect to French Montana, but I mean, let's just be honest. It wasn't a strong verse. He sounded like he was high or something. Like,
his timing was off. That's what I had.
yeah,
I didn't have a problem with the bars. I had a problem with the fact that his timing was
his
noticeable.
timing was off. And you know what? I like some of French Montana's verses. Like, you know, some folks be like, whatever, French Montana. I like stuff that French does.
I'm not a French Montana fan, but it's like you know my motto, Mike. There's room for everybody on the stage.
No Stylist was dope. I mean, I think his production selection is really good. And you know who I like hearing together? And it's funny, they actually did a mixtape back in the day. I like hearing French Montana and Juicy J together. It's an interesting combination. But anyway,
Why?
I like
Why?
they have
Why?
fun. They have fun on the track, man. Like you said, there's room for everything.
Rap needs fun. No, rap needs fun, and if that's your rationale, like go ahead and you go listen to that.
You know, another off-putting duo that I like, you know, too, that people wouldn't think of. I like Big Boy and Backbone together, man. I would like to see a Big Boy and Backbone tape.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I would love to see that. Everybody talking about 3,000. We're not going to get that. I want to hear Big Boy and Backbone together, man. That would be some smooth shit. I heard, what was it, man? It was when Big Boy did the Super Bowl. It was that one song where it was Big Boy, Backbone, and Killer Mike. But Big Boy and
Kryptonite?
No. It came out like 2019, I believe. And I'm going to say it in a minute. I'm about to pull it up. But yeah, man. Backbone and Big Boy were going back and forth so seamlessly. I didn't even know it was Backbone. I thought it was just some new cat or something. And I looked on the credits. I'm like, that's Backbone. Big Boy and Backbone, y'all need to do a tape together, man. Like, give us an EP or something. That should be dope. And the Big Sleepover's coming too. Big Boy and Sleepy Brown's joint. So, looking forward to that. But yeah, Plugs too.
What's your favorite joint on Plugs too? What's the track that you heard when you heard it? You was like that's my But yeah, that's it for me.
They're
I'm
all
fucking.
at a level, you know.
He did a great job. He
Yeah,
like it's like this. I feel like aren't all these tracks kind of like 8.5s?
yeah. They're all at a level. Now I will say that the intro is very tough, and it's a good way to
Intro
start.
tough.
Yeah, the
No,
intro
it's
is
a great
tough.
way to start. I mean, we talked behind the scenes. I told you I would have loved it if he would have taken this track. If he was recording it at the same time he was recording Burden of Proof, he should have took that intro from Burden of Proof and been like, okay, look, Hit Boy, you're producing most of this album, but you're gonna Harry fraud this intro because that when Tony met Sosa, like, yeah.
Now, I do understand where he's coming from that perspective of having one producer do a whole album or having producers, if it's multiple ones, working as a team to put together an album. Because historically, I think that's when we've seen production-wise the best hip-hop albums, and they they flow better when it's in that situation. Illmatic kind of changed that hip hop trajectory of having multiple producers. We're gonna talk about Illmatic in a minute too, but I mean before that, people were just basically building with their team. I mean, if you look at Tribe's work, you look at De La's work,
Yeah.
you look at
Right. We're in 2021 though. Illmatic's 94. There's been
No,
a
I
lot of
agree.
classic albums released since then with a multitude of producers on.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think that historically they flow a lot better. I mean, we're seeing an era now where a lot of people are kind of going back to that because, again,
I think part of the reason. Here's what people have to understand about Illmatic, and here's why Illmatic is really brilliant and beautiful. It's really like it's condensed. Like it's 4 producers, but it's 9 songs. It's like when
4
these dudes
producers
is
at the top of their game. Home.
Yeah. No. We'll say that.
No, it's 5 producers. So we always leave out LES. 4 legendary producers at the top of their game. You got Pete Rock coming off of they're making Main Ingredient, and they're coming off of Mecca and the Soul Brother. You got Premier coming off of Mass Appeal and all that. You got Q-Tip coming off of Midnight Marauders. And you got Large Professor coming off of Breaking Atoms. I mean, it's an awesome cast at an awesome time.
I mean, really, if you really want to know the truth, the Large Professor tracks are really the dated tracks, and those got put on out of love because Large Professor was really the guy that had a lot to do with getting Nas to Pete Rock, to Q-Tip, and to Prince.
No.
I mean, and so on and so forth. Because One Time for Your Mind and Halftime are very, very 1991, 92-ish.
I agree.
But Nas is still Nas, so.
Did you hear that Halftime was supposed to go to Busta Rhymes? Or something like that. No, Busta Rhymes heard it and turned it down, or something like that.
I can see that too.
Yeah. One Time for Your Mind, Halftime, and I mean, it ain't hard to tell is the shit, man. I mean, you're right, but that was like on the demo.
Yeah, that was a different version too.
It was a different version, and that's the Human Nature sample. That's timeless.
Yeah,
that's not gonna get old.
Look, you're gonna win. It's a great first single to start off your career.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's your rating for Plugs 2?
My rating for Plugs 2, I think it's album of the year so far. I think I would give it a 7 out of 10 at this
7?
7.5? Is that too tough? And the only reason why I say that is because...
No. Back up. Forget that out of 10. Give me a rating out of 5.
Out of 5, okay. Yeah, because 10 gets real tricky.
How many purple tapes, Mike?
I think this is... I'm going 4 mics with this, man. 4 tapes with this. 4 tapes out of 5 with this.
So it's the same as Burden of Proof then to you? Can I tell you something that
it's slightly better, but it's on a similar level, man. It's not, and again, not to interrupt you, I'm just gonna say, I think that his peers have really set the tone, and we know what he can do when he's with Westside and when he's with Conway, and I'm holding him to those standards. It's like he's so Method Man when it comes to his individual projects, man.
No. I don't think that's a fair assessment because he does have Tana Talk 3 plugs and
Yeah.
now this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to submit a couple things to you.
Mm-hmm.
One, how many times have you listened to this project
I've
already?
listened to it 1.5 times. I need to listen to it more.
Okay, before we started, like literally when I was calling you, I still had it playing. I was at the end of my fourth listen. I've
Okay.
been really, really impressed at the replayability of it so
Okay.
far. In terms of like the fact when I cut it back on, like when I was getting ready for us to go on and stuff, I was like, no, like I done heard this a few times a day and I'm still with the shits. That was one thing. Because it's a short, you know what I'm saying? But I usually don't do that. You know what I mean? But I played it 4 times today, so I've spent 2 hours on it today. It hasn't gotten old to me.
What do you give it out of 5? I'm interested to hear.
No. Here's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So, can you pick a beat on here that you don't think is up to par? Because I feel like the beat selection is good and it's diverse enough. Like Fraud switched it up just enough on there, and it's not totally East Coast sounding. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the 2 Chainz track. What's the name of the 2 Chainz track? The
Plug Talk. Yeah.
Yeah, Plug Talk overall and Thanksgiving, those aren't necessarily East Coast tracks. So Fraud switched it up. The beat selection is dope, don't you think?
I think the beat selection is real dope.
Isn't Benny rhyming his ass off on the way that he isn't on Burden of Proof?
He is.
So how can it be the same? That's what I'm saying. The beats are better. The rhymes are better.
I think I would rather...
The guest appearances, if you take, like, what was the best guest appearance on Burden of Proof? Freddie Gibbs?
Yeah, by far.
Outside of, so there is no Freddie Gibbs type appearance on here, but all these appearances are better than the other appearances on there with the exception of War Paint. It's just like, you know?
Yeah.
Like 2 Chainz appearance on Plug Talk is better than Wayne and Sean's appearance combined on Timeless.
I love the fact that we did have a War Paint, though. I will say that.
This, like, the only thing this is missing is probably that Griselda record, or at least one of the 2 of them. I would love Westside on a Hook or a back and forth with Benny and Conway. But outside of that, that's why I'm saying I would give it like a 4.25 to a 4.5.
I'm cool with 4.25. I think 4.5 is very
4.5 is too strong.
It's very high, especially if we're talking about it's March. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we're kind of nothing has come out this year.
No, this shit hard though, Mike.
It is.
It
set the standard for the year so far. I think Burden of Proof I rated too high. I would rather have Burden of Proof at a 3.75 and this at a 4.25. I'm cool with that.
You wanna know what else too, Mike? Like he like Benny on here, he's what's the best? Mike, he's more 96 Hove than 97 Hove on here. Like he's talking about the game, but he ain't talking about the glamour of the game. Part of what drew us to Jay when Jay dropped Reasonable Doubt is that Jay explained the glamour side, but he also showed the nuances of the gritty side of it.
Yeah.
Plugs is about the gritty side of the game. It's about the stress that comes with the game.
Yeah.
This ain't the diamond chains and Rolexes and private jets and Manicures album. This is 96 Hove shit. You know what I'm saying?
This is an impressive effort.
Yeah, like this is The Evils, Can I Live, Politics as Usual. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's that personal shit.
I agree.
He's not cool like Jay is. And so the expression of it is different, but the personable talk is really there if you're listening.
That he's that member of the group, and I think that's why a lot of people gravitate to how he spits and the stories that he tells a lot. I think that Conway, man, Conway, he set a bar very high if we're talking about, just lyricism when it comes to From a King to a God. I was actually talking to owner of a barbershop that I go to on Fridays, man. Shout out to them. And, he hadn't heard From a King to a God. I told him last week, and, we were going through the yearbook and stuff, And he asked me what was the best album of last year, and I say, West Side Guns, Pray for Paris. So I was like, closely followed by Conway's From a King to a God, and he hadn't heard it, and he told me today, man, he was like, man, that Conway is crazy, yeah. And
Hey,
so,
Mike, I got a similar story that actually happened with a guy of mine where he was like, "Yo, Coop, what was the best rap album last year?"
yep.
And I was like, "Pray for Paris." And I sent him Pray for Paris. So you sent somebody From a King to a God. I sent somebody Pray for Paris. That was our 1-2, wasn't it?
Yeah, man.
By
No, but I did say Pray for Paris was number one. I think he might have went to the Conway one because he had heard more of Conway. And, yeah, he was like, man, that shit was crazy, man. And
George Bondo and a lot sent me on Pray for Paris. And, like, when I look at it,
right.
like, that's two of the, like, 5 or 6 best songs Griselda's ever done as a team, and they're both on Pray for Paris. Like, Allah Sent Me and George Bondo are rap classics.
I mean, with that being said, man, I think this is, whether it's fair or not, these are the standards that Benny is being held to, and what these guys did recently, and what he did on these records too, because he's a standout on George Bondo. My God,
Mike, he's part of the reason that they have their buzz, because for me, their buzz really starts with Supreme Blientele,
right?
Which coincides with his stellar guest appearances on there.
Yeah.
Like, Mike, Brutus and Gods Don't Bleed. Like, when I heard him on Brutus and Gods Don't Bleed, I was like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
That can rhyme bar for bar with Kiss. Who is that guy rhyming before Kiss that can rhyme bar for bar with Kiss?
Right. No, for real. And
who is that guy? Like, listen to what I just said, Mike. Who is that guy before Kiss that can rhyme bar for bar with Kiss?
Yeah.
Because when I got done listening to him, like, when I looked at the track list, and I was like, okay, because I knew who Westside was, because from the Cow.
Right.
Cats was telling me about Blind
Oh my
Tale,
God.
and I'm like, let's check it out. And so Gods Don't Bleed is the second track on Blind Tale. So when Benny comes in, I'm like, what the?
Bro, speaking of the Cow, Conway is.
You listen to the Cow? Isn't that still arguably his best verse, Mike? Isn't that special shit?
It's one of the best verses I've ever heard.
It's one of the best verses ever. It's one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. I've been telling cats.
And it Mike, separates him from. There's separation points, man. And he, yeah. As a lyricist, Mike, let's just say that. And again, Mike, go ahead.
At the Shook Ones Part 2, verbal intercourse, I never seen a man die children's story level of a verse.
It is, man. It tells the whole Griselda story, man. It's
That's 2016.
And I don't think anybody else in that crew, and no disrespect to anybody, could have told their story in that way.
In one verse?
Yeah, man.
In one verse, Mike? It's an extended verse. It's a 24-bar clip, Mike, but that's one of the hardest clips ever.
It's emotional. It's introspective. It's lyrical. It's impressive, man.
There aren't many verses that'll make you want to cry. That's one of them. Like, All I Got Is You by Ghostface Killah, Dear Mama by Tupac, So Many Tears by... Like, there aren't many verses when you hear them that it tugs at you in a different way. Because you can hear and feel his pain so clearly, Mike. Like, you can hear it and feel it. You like, when he talking about, it's funny, I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
After I got shot in my face, I see myself, said, I'm done with this shit. Hold on, what did he say? Face twisted up, looking ugly and shit.
Yeah.
Trying to spit my verses and mumbling and shit.
Dang.
Bell's palsy had me looking like I had a stroke. But every bar written was a slab of dope. And all of the niggas that laughed and joked is doing bad and broke. Man, that shit crazy, Mike.
Yeah,
I love The Cow. That's one of my favorite rap songs ever.
And again, and I think that...
Mike, that's one of the best rap verses ever, but what's missed in that is that Westside's verse on there is one of Westside's best verses.
It is. No, he did his thing on there.
That's a great
song. See, this is the thing, man. These guys are being held to these type of levels, and I think that as impressive of an effort that this is, they got seminal records that everything that they put out is going to be held to. And that's not a bad thing. And clearly they're inspiring the game, and the consistency is there. And I think when you put out music in the way that they do, you kind of run into that. You know what I mean? When you're putting out music so much, you kind of run into the fact that, everything's not going to be a home run like that, or a grand slam, shall I say. But you're consistently getting on base and you consistently putting up numbers. You know what I mean?
And you want to know what's going to happen because of that, Mike? These three guys in particular, and listen to what I'm saying when I say this, their greatest hits, like their best songs when they're done, are going to rival anybody that ever rapped.
Yeah, you're right.
Because of how they work and because of the quality of records that they make.
I agree.
It's not about how dope you are. It's about how dope the record is. I don't give a shit how dope you are if the rhyme's not good.
I agree. There's so many people in the history of this genre that could rhyme and were dope as an MC, but they don't have the music to translate. And, and vice versa. But these guys have it.
Like, Mike, Westside Gunn plays, like, on my playlist, like, on my turns more than anybody else because he's made the most product.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he random, like, if I just hit shuffle, Mike, and I'm in the car for an hour, I know I'm going to hear one of his records. And I got thousands of songs, and I don't mean, like, one or two. I mean, like, 7, 8, 9,000 songs, and that's not even, like, all my shit because I got shit in different places.
Well, I mean, it can't be, I would be remiss to even, not bring up the fact that Westside put out 3 quality, well, no, hold on, let me say that again. He put out 3 albums. 1 was a classic. 2 were very good albums. And it's like,
I think he went classic, great, good.
Yeah. Who does that in the same fucking year? Who's done that?
Yeah.
I mean, for real. Like, we just got to call it what it is. That's incredible. And regardless of what you think of him as an MC or that he out features and all that, a lot of that stuff was just him giving assists. And, honestly, that, the second effort he put out, Fly God 2, that gave us Amani Caesar. That actually gave Stove God some more light. Like, this
introduction.
Bro, this shit is crazy. And this is months after Pray for Paris. And then he still dropped his full length after that.
He did. Mike.
That might be one of the most impressive things. When we look back on it in history and we're going to look at these 3 efforts and the fact that they came out in the same year, months apart, that's going to be one of the most impressive things that we've seen from an artist.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about a producer. Like, we've seen producers like RZA in 95 and, some of the things that we could say Kanye did in like 05 or whatever. But as an artist, I don't think we've seen anything like that.
No. I mean, DMX was probably the closest, like with his 2-album run. And both of those albums were better than all 3 albums that Westside dropped. So if we're just still talking about like the best year artist has ever had.
Flesh of My Flesh not better than Pray for Paris. It's not.
Okay. No. I'll give you that. But isn't Flesh of My Flesh like far superior to Fly God 2?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like okay. And that was his second best joint. And Who Made the Sunshine will be the 3rd joint. That's not even in the conversation with Flesh of My Flesh, is it?
No. No, right. It's not.
So DMX's year is still the greatest year.
Well, that's 2 versus 3. And 1 came out in December. This dude did, what was that? March, summertime, and August.
I mean, Mike, X made like 15, 20 classic records between those 2 albums.
No, I feel you. And I think, too, I mean...
Ain't no fucking with D. No, 998, no.
I mean...
Still not the best year ever.
The best...
Not the best year ever.
He didn't even drop Album of the Year that year, but whatever.
Hold on, what was the Album of the Year that year?
Aquemini.
Hold on, when is Dark and Hell is Hot, 97?
No, it was 98.
It was 98?
Yeah.
No, he didn't drop the best album of the year, Mike.
I'm just saying.
That's an insane year.
Insane
That's
year.
not, that's not 96, 95, or 94, and that was an insane year.
Yep, yep, yep. I think, you know what? I think 98 collectively was probably better than 94. I think 94 was transformative. I think the few that were the big dogs were, game changers. But I think quality wise, man, I think 98 might have had it.
Mike, Illmatic, Ready to Die, Southern Playalistic, and The Diary dropped in 94.
I understand that.
Conversation's over. I don't care what you got in 98. You don't got shit
I
for that
mean,
98.
you got
Those four
Akumana, you got
albums,
Dark as Hell is Hot, you got The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I mean,
so,
come on, man.
first of all, that's not a rap album. There's only the final hour and Lost Ones and a couple other verses.
You don't
That's not a
count.
rap album.
You don't count that as a hip hop album.
No, hell no.
Okay.
She's singing up on that bitch.
Okay,
She
well,
a Rita.
that is the perfect segue into Nas winning his first Grammy, because, because Lauryn Hill's Miseducation was the first hip hop album to win Album of the Year at the Grammys.
No. Speaker Box Love Movement's first hip hop album.
No.
R&B
Let's not
album.
look.
She
Hold
didn't
on.
win Best Hip Hop album. She won Best R&B album.
No. She won Album of the Year at the Grammys.
Yeah.
I'm just
She
saying
won
that's
5 Grammys that night.
what I was gonna say is you're not being consistent here. Love Below didn't have as much rapping on it as Miseducation.
Speaker Box does though.
Come on, man. Let's just keep it real.
Together.
Let's just
No.
keep it real.
No, I know
Stop
what
it.
you're
Stop
talking
it. Stop
about,
it.
keeping it real.
Speaker
I'm talking
Box
about
didn't
how
win that
it-
Grammy. The Love Below did. Stop that. And I love Big Boy. And I think Big Boy is disrespected a lot in the culture. But come on, man. Love Below won that Album of the Year status. That wasn't Speaker Box. So if you're gonna do Lauren like that, you got to do that album the same way.
Hold on, no. I'm gonna defend Big Boy on that one and say I think Speaker Box is still underrated. I love Bow Tie. I love Happy. And also too, The Way You Move is almost just as big as hit as Hey Ya was. And not only that, The Way You Move has proven to be a more timeless record than Hey Ya. Now, hasn't it?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Mike, I hear The Way You Move way more than I hear Hey Ya. Stop that.
I don't know about that. But what I will say, let's just...
Mike, are you hanging around white people? Because like black people play The Way You Move and black stations play The Way You Move.
Listen, I haven't heard either record in a minute, and I think both of them are dated, and I think when we talk about Outkast's catalog...
No, The Way You Move isn't dated, Mike. That's a classic. Hey Ya is dated.
This is what I will say.
Should have dropped She Lives in My Lap.
I mean, that's an incredible record. Now, you know this. Let's just keep it 100. And I ain't saying Speaker Box ain't a dope album. But you telling me... No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is at the Grammys, Speaker Box wouldn't have won Album of the Year by itself. At the Grammys, The Love Below would have won Album of the Year by itself.
What year was that?
This was 2004 Grammys. Come on,
I don't know if Andre independent of Big, like, you have to understand that was kind of Andre's coming out party as a really, really big star. So let's not make it seem like that would have happened that way.
The Love Below was huge. It's what it is. I'm saying, and like I said, say no disrespect because I love Big Boy. He's one of my favorite people in hip hop. But the love...
Like you're gonna disrespect Big
all
Boy.
I'm saying is the Love Below, just based on how the Academy picks their album of the years, this was more about the Love Below than it was Speaker Box. And with that being said, this was about the album that didn't have a lot of rapping on it, just like Lauren. So if you want to say that about Lawrence, we got to say the same thing about the Outkast album. That's all I'm saying. But I believe both of them are hip hop albums. But with that being said, Nas just won his first Grammy for Best Rap Album for King's Disease. Now, where do you have King's Disease ranked in Nas's catalog of efforts?
We were just talking about this the other night.
Mm-hmm. I just want to remind the people who might not have seen the show.
Right. I think I said it's arguably, I believe when we had the show, did I say it was a top 5 Nas album or did I say it was arguably like 5 or 6 depending on how you feel? I feel like I said it was 5 or 6 depending on how you feel.
I think you said like 5 or 6. Do you think that I Am is better than King's Disease?
Not from beginning to end, no. So I'm still gonna stand by Illmatic.
Okay.
It was written.
Okay.
The Lost Tapes.
Okay.
Still Mad.
Okay.
Those four definitely better.
What about Godson?
So I think Godson and I Am, and I believe this is what I said last time. Godson, I Am, and King's Disease and Life is Good is where it starts coming in the conversation. I think that King's Disease is a more updated formula than Life is Good. Like, Life is Good, Nas is still just kind of Nas being Nas, not trying to keep up with the times, not switching up any pace or anything. And so Nas, the MC, might still be a little better in 2012 on Life is Good, but he's not the guy that puts a project together as well as King's Disease. So I'm going to say King's Disease is better than Life is Good, okay?
I think Life is Good is better. I disagree with you on that one. I think as far as Godson goes, there's not a major look on King's Disease. There's not a I Can on King's Disease. There's not a Get Down on King's Disease.
Mike,
I may have to go with
Mike,
Godson.
No. Let's stop for a second.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a major look on any rapper's album that's not Rakim other than Nas. So stop that.
But I'm just saying, it is what it is. Like, but we're talking about Nas.
Like, when you like, you want to know what? And I really thought about this. When we're talking about Made You Look, we need to really start looking at it for what it is. That might be the best record of his career.
I think, you know what? I will say this: it's the best single of his career. I guess
it's the best single of his career. For us,
I've said that for a minute, though.
I'm about to say, for us that are fans of his, like when we heard "Made You Look," we were like, "That's Nasty Nas making a single."
Yo,
Bad.
I wish Made You Look was on Stillmatic in replace of Got Yourself a Gun. Then we would have a real conversation about Stillmatic or the Blueprint. But yeah,
I think we're having that conversation if we just take Braveheart Party off of Stillmatic. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I look at Got Yourself a Gun the same way I look at That Nigga Jigga. Got Yourself a Gun's better than That Nigga Jigga.
That Nigga Jigga's trash.
That's what I'm trying to say, Mike. So it's like you talking about it being a conversation. It's like, Got Yourself a Gun better than That Nigga Jigga. It's still a conversation. Braveheart Party's the fucking problem.
Gnarly dude, I pump out Marley dude all day like Rastafari's dude.
Let's just stop.
The kids got more sixes than first grade.
I like that bar. That was the only bar that I liked on that song. We got more sixes in first grade. I was like, yo, he's stupid.
Don't bother me, dude.
Here's what I'm going to say about King's Disease. And I guess here's how you want to measure it. Remember, a long time ago, Mike, I think it's been a year of us doing these podcasts. This might be our year anniversary because we did Jay Electronica. No, this is our year anniversary, Mike, because I think we did Jay Electronica's music review like on 3/17 or 3/18 or something like that last year.
Well, happy anniversary, sir. Cheers. We're going to properly celebrate that in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's cool. Remember, like, first of all, can I tell that story right quick? I was sitting at the home doing nothing because I got furloughed from work, and Mike was like, hey, your article's going crazy. Do you want to talk right now? And I was thinking to myself, like, fuck no, I don't want to talk to nobody right now. But we talked, and, like, thousands of people watched, and I haven't written a fucking article since. So, you know, my hands feel better.
Chris Keith in the comments, he wants to debate you. What do you want to debate? What do you want to debate Coop on? We talking Nas and Nas's first Grammy.
Let me finish this last thought.
Go ahead.
We had a podcast a while ago, and I explained to you how, like, the brother Yaya, and you know
Uh-huh.
Ya's one of the best MCs we've ever heard, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard him in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, like, at the time that I heard Yaya was one of the best
Yeah, they were doing their thing. They had, like, a duo going on, right?
Yeah, Mallah.
Yeah, Mallah.
Like, I put both of them up against anybody. Like, I got money right now. Like, I go put money on them right now if they still the way that they were. It's like that with them. Y'all always told me that, you know, Jay-Z was like Emmett Smith and Nas was like Barry Sanders. Like, you know, every time Emmett gets the ball, it's going to be five yards. And you're going to keep on getting those first downs. He's going to break a couple big runs, but nothing fancy spectacular, just remarkably steady, and that's what's impressive. He was like, you know, Nas is more like Barry Sanders. You know, he might have 2 or 3 runs, negative yardage, and then before you know it, boom, 50-yard run, boom, 40-yard run, boom, 30-yard run. He got 160, 70 yards rushing. You're like, how he do that? It's like he ran the ball hard so 3 or 4 times. And so here's what I want to say. So transition that.
Mm-hmm.
King's disease is not actually on his J shit. He's on his Emmitt Smith. That's 5 yards every carry. God's son and I Am is the more Nas that people are talking about, like that breath of wind, that myth, that lightning in a bottle that people are talking about, where it's like he'll make 1 or 2 or 3 records on one album that's better than everybody else's shit and have you feeling like he's the best. It's about what you prefer, because on I Am and on God's Son, there are 3 records on there, Mike, on each one of those albums that's blowing everything on King's disease out the water.
This is what I want. Yeah, and this is what I wanted to talk about
Ain't
too.
No Nas like or Made You Look on King's disease.
It's
no,
not.
but it's 5 yards a carry. It's first downs. You know,
I mean,
there's a couple 20-yard runs. Like Spicy is a 20-yard run. 27 Summers is a 25-yard run. Full Circle is another 25-yard run. Those days of him doing those 50, 60, 80-yard runs are over. But no, he can go do 5 yards a carry. He can go get you 20, 25 yards when you need him to out the blue.
Well, I think a lot of people felt like Alfredo was the better album in the category. And I know that, you've ranked Alfredo over King's Disease as well. So a lot of people felt like the Grammys was giving Nas this Grammy for the fact that they have never given him a Grammy before. This was just one of those, we messed up over the years. Here you go. To that I say,
that's not fair to Nas, and I'm going to tell you why that's not fair to Nas. Just at least on our level here at According to Hip Hop, we had Alfredo and King's Disease ranked 3 and 4.
Right.
I'm still going to stand by that. Alfredo is the better album. Let's not act like King's Disease didn't deserve to be there. It is very, very, very rare that Mike, I can't think of a year where the best rap album of the year actually won rap album of the year. That's part of the problem with the Grammys.
Right. Well, I think in their mission to validate themselves by actually, finally giving Nas an award, I think that they made themselves even more invalid, if that makes any sense. The fact that this, of all things, was the only thing that you've ever given Nas a Grammy for, and it's like, it continues the problem, and it's like, I saw Nas and his team celebrating as he should, Hit Boy and all that, but is he really happy about this? Like, would you really be happy if let's say you're Nas, right? And a institution or an academy, never recognized any of your best work, and you stayed around all these years, and you put out, a solid piece of work, and it gets awarded by this academy. Are you like, yeah, great, or are you like, who cares? Nas is solidified regardless.
I don't think he's ever cared. Like, I don't think he's ever really, really cared. It's been so long since he truly, truly cared, so I think he's taking it with a grain of salt. I think the people around him are more happy for him than he actually is. You and I talked about this behind the scenes because we started doing a rundown of, like, all the Grammy wins. They didn't even call the shots right on the stuff that he got nominated for in the past that he didn't win. I mean, they literally, outside of Life is Good, missed most of his best work in terms of the stuff that he should have been nominated for. And then you and I got into the whole conversation where there's literally a stretch where it's pretty much a Kanye or Eminem dropped an album. They won Album of the Year. It didn't matter about the quality of the album. I think they got 6 and 5 rap Album of the Year Grammys respectively. So that's 11 years of Nas's career that Kanye and Eminem, regardless of whether he got nominated or not, probably going to receive that trophy.
And you know what?
So pretty much all the early into the mid 2000s.
Well, you know what Kanye did to his Grammy? He pissed on it on IG. And, and it's like, what I don't love is the fact that with the celebrations and all of this, it feels like the Grammys validated Nas in some, weird way. And it's like, you can't validate Nas. Nas has validated you? Honestly, not really, because you are recognizing this
Did.
piece of work. You know what I'm saying?
You just validated them, and I'm going to tell you why. Because when we go back and look at the list of Grammy winners, most of the people who won Best Rap Album, it wasn't even a top 5 rap album that year. At least this is a top 5 rap album. At least this is an album that deserves to be in the discussion. They only got that right on 2 accounts with Alfredo and King's Disease. So if we're talking about quality, did Alfredo deserve to win over King's Disease? Yes. But at least they picked a top 5 rap album from that year and got it right. It's super rare that they even do that, Mike.
Well, I think that in a year like 2020, they had no choice because, once again, none of their major label darlings came out with anything because we were in the house and there was no 360 tour money to get off of your major artists. So they were forced to actually pick good
listen
picks
to an
this year.
album properly, or listening to Freddie Gibbs for the probably their first time really hearing Gibbs.
Yeah. They were forced to put these guys in categories because who else were they going to put in there? I mean, they threw Jay Electronica in there, and honestly, you know, Jay-Z was on there. That was the reason why. But, you know, outside of that, I don't even think... What do you think that... I mean, if we're talking 2020, and we've done extensive coverage on 2020 and, you know, documented it and all, where do you think that Jay Electronica's effort really falls? I mean, I forgot where you ranked it in the top 20 albums of the year, but I don't think it even made a mark.
It made our slept on list. It didn't even make our top 20
list.
It wasn't
20 Exactly. And, you know, and the reason why that was nominated, let's be completely honest, because Jay-Z's all over it.
Correct. But, I mean, Mike, if you go outside of, I think, Ghost of Soulja Slim, and Ending Story, and Ezekiel's Wheel, which was a personal favorite of mine, you don't have consistent playback on. It's just not. It's not moving material, and it's like you had so much time to make something move. Like I was expecting a cultural timepiece from him. I'm going to tell you exactly what I was expecting, and I usually don't expect much from an artist. I was expecting something to Pimp a Butterfly-ish from him.
Hey, why not?
Is that unfair?
You had 10 years. Why not?
Isn't he talking? Hold on. Listen to the shit that he's talking on Chinese Soup Theory. I know that it's dated, but listen to how he's talking about how Puff is talking about him. So it's not unfair to ask for To Pimp a Butterfly-ish album when you've had a decade to make a To Pimp a Butterfly-ish album, and Kendrick only had 2 years, and we on Kendrick's ass right now for taking so long after Damn.
Yeah. I listened to Pimp a Butterfly the other day. It celebrated its, 6th anniversary? And incredible album, man. Incredible. But see, To Pimp a Butterfly is one of those albums that you can't skip around. If you're listening to that album, you got to listen to it from beginning to end.
Problem,
and you know what? This is the fun. I was talking to my man Ron Vay. Shout out to Ron Vay, man. Yeah. And Ron Vay, man, he I don't know if I told you this, but he put together this hip hop musical. You know, he comes from the theater background, and I went and saw it, man, and that shit was dope as fuck. Really, it was to me, and I ain't just saying this because it's my man. It was way better than Hamilton. I saw Hamilton when it came on TV, and I called Ron Vay. I was like, man, your shit was way better than this. But anyway,
hold on. Listen to what I'm saying though. Listen to what you just said. So I don't even know what album I was talking about. I think it might have been The Chronic last year when I was like, I was shuffle on my playlist. Lil Ghetto Boy came on. And I was like, yo, I need to hear The Chronic. Like go ahead and run that back. We're going to start from the top. I'm going to play the whole shit. A real classic, you can hear a track randomly, and it makes you want to hear the whole play again. It's like, no, run all that back. That's my shit. That's my problem with To Pimp a Butterfly. It doesn't make you feel that way when you hear one of the songs randomly. Listen to what you just said. It's like, hold on. Oh, I got to listen to this from beginning to end. Well, that's really not fair, Mike, because like sometimes it's like I hear The World Is Yours and I'm like, oh shit, Illmatic. Sometimes I hear Ice Water, it's like, oh shit, Purple Tape. Sometimes I hear Mamacita, it's like, oh shit, Aquemini.
But hold on. Let me finish my thought before I forget it. Look,
Pepper Butterfly doesn't do that shit, but I'm gonna tell you what does that shit. It's Good Kid, Mad City. Cause Money Trees came on the other day, Mike, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah.
To Pimp a Butterfly is much better than
Run Master Splinter's daughter, Run Master Splinter, Shireen's daughter, Black. Run, Bitch, Don't Kill My Vibe. Like, I played Bitch, Don't Kill My Vibe in traffic like 5 times in a row.
Well, this is what I was gonna say about To Pimp a Butterfly, man. And Ron Bay kind of brought this to my attention. He was like, when I heard that album, it let me know that, and he had already, put together his musicals and everything before that. He was like, it let me know that hip hop and theater can exist. Like, he was like, To Pimp a Butterfly is theater from beginning to end. And when I listen, and after he said that, I listened to it in that tense, and I'm like, it really is. That shit is a play.
Did Ron say that?
No, Ron Bay said that. Yeah.
Ron said that. That is a brilliant take.
Yeah. And when you listen to it in that tense, it's like, this shit is really act one. And like, even from the individual thing to the Tupac thing, that shit is a play.
Mike, niggas don't got time to get intense when they getting in the whip and they want to ride to their shit. That's why Good Kid, Mad City is his best album. You don't have that, Mike. I've said this before about To Pimp a Butterfly. It's like,
it's too smart.
Brilliant. It's a classic. No, it's brilliant. It's a classic. But you have to get in a zone to listen to it. I don't need to get in the zone to listen to Good Kid, Mad City. Kendrick puts me in the zone. It's the West Coast Illmatic. Money Trees, Mike, Bitch, Don't Kill My Vibe, Compton.
I'm going to say this.
Like, you can put that shit on shuffle and you hear it and be like, that's that shit. That's that shit.
I always felt like this about Akumina, man. And I really felt...
Mamacita came up on shuffle, Mike. That's why I bought up Mamacita. Mamacita came up on shuffle. I was like, that shit hard.
I feel like... I don't know if I've ever felt like this about a hip-hop album before, but I think To Pimp a Butterfly is too good. It's too smart. It's too complex. And honestly, and when no, and I'm not saying this in a sense like only smart people get it. I'm not saying that. Huh?
What 50 say? What 50 say? If you want to make music for you, go sit in your basement.
I appreciate To Pimp a Butterfly though. I don't think To Pimp a Butterfly was to accommodate everybody. I will say this: after coming with such a commercial and critically acclaimed success like Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly is the perfect follow-up for that, because no one could sit there and say he fell off. You could say, oh, this shit was too complex. I would rather people say that than, oh yeah, man, that shit ain't that shit. Because I'm telling you, people who swear by To Pimp a Butterfly, myself included, it's a much better album than Good Kid, Mad City.
You couldn't do that with To Pimp a Butterfly, because when you listen to Pimp a Butterfly, one of the first things that you notice, it's like, oh man, he put so much thought and effort into making this project.
Yes.
Into making sure that this project is important and that means something. And niggas ain't thinking about that shit when they get in their car to ride. And that's why I'm going to play Money Trees before I play These Walls.
To Pimp a Butterfly came out in 2015. I remember when I played it for the first time, I made a conscious effort not to go online to see what anybody was saying about it. I just pressed play. I got probably halfway through that shit and was like, this is the best hip-hop album I heard since Supreme Clientele. And when I listened to it the other day, I was like, I still stand by that.
Mike, I did a post, like a personal post, not according to hip-hop related post, about how I thought it was one of the most striking and important albums that I had ever heard. I heard, and this is still my take on the album, it is the blend of the message of It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back with the sensibilities musically and stylistically of Aquemini, which make that pull a very masterful and hard piece of work to pull off. It's a brilliant project. As an MC, there's not too much that you can say about him because some of his performances on there are pretty epic. Mm-hmm. It's just not
his storytelling
enjoyable. It's just not that enjoyable to listen to song to song. And that's one of the things that I notice about all-time great hip-hop classics, that they have that. And that's my problem with it. And so I'm splitting hairs here, and it's still brilliant and it's still beautiful, but it's very few songs on there. Like, Mike, is there ever a song on there that you just hear isolated that makes you want to go listen to the rest of the songs? Because there are tracks on the Low End Theory that do that to you. Illmatic, Aquemini, Life After Death, Ready to Die, Only Built for Cuban Links, Paid in Full. Like, you'll hear one record and you'll be like, that whole album is the shit. I want to listen to
You
it.
know,
And
whenever I hear Hood Politics or Black of the Berry, shit, Mortal Man. I mean,
Mortal Man or How Much a Dollar Costs is the only song that'll come up on my playlist that'll make me think about listening to that album again. And that's my problem with that album. When you've got other classic albums, Mike, I had a day the other day, like it was last week, because I put just like Big on a little bit of shuffle. Like I put some like a specified playlist together, and something from Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Life After Death came on. I think it was I Love the Dough.
right.
And the world, I love the dough and the world is filled. And I was like, oh man, there's so many other joints on both of those volumes right now that I want to go listen to right now. Let me just go play Life After Death. To Pimp a Butterfly doesn't do that to you.
I don't know, man. And the only reason why it might not, because again, it's like theater. You have to see the whole picture. And the way he put that album together, it's like that. Like even all the way down to him, doing the little snippets in between of the final conversation with him and Tupac. It's meant for a full listen.
Yeah, that's part of the beauty. So I understand when you're talking about theater.
It's meant for a full listen. So maybe it's not meant for you to hear one song and want to hear the whole thing. You have to, it's like if you were just going. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, it's kind of like, you can't just pick up a movie and just watch individual scenes, and you have to watch the whole movie. And I think that's what it's meant for.
This is what I mean. When it's a classic, though, you can jump in mid-scene and it'll lock you in. Like, there was one day that I got home from work on a Saturday and I walked in, and The Godfather 2 was on. And it was the scene where Michael Corleone is going to talk to Hyman Roth in Hyman Roth's house. And he cut up the TV so they could talk so his wife couldn't hear. And I knew what was going down, Mike, and I had been there before so many times with the movie. But about the scene and about the acting and about the flow, I got locked back in, and I was supposed to be taking a nap, Mike, because you know what my Saturdays be like.
Yeah.
Like, I was supposed to go to sleep right quick, Mike. I looked up, I got home at like 3:30.
And you was stuck.
I looked up, it was like 5:45. I was like, oh shit, I was supposed to be taking my break right now,
right.
And I got to bust a move at 7. My free time to fuck. And that's what classic shit does to you. To Pimp a Butterfly don't do that.
Is there a hip-hop album like To Pimp a Butterfly, though? Because even when I was talking to Ron Bay about it, the other album that he pointed out that he felt was like theater, and I agreed again, was Janelle Monáe's Archandroid. And
if you want to go to some of De La's shit, or a couple of or Fear of a Black Planet, it takes a nation of millions in terms of it, like having
flowing in that way. I could give you De La.
Like De La's first 2 projects, don't you feel like they're kind of pieced together in a manner that To Pimp a Butterfly is?
Kinda. This was different though. I don't know, the length of it and just hearing one voice as opposed to a group. The whole
Mike, so
time.
I'm going to submit something else to you. For as great as he is, part of the problem with the album is that it's all him, and he needs to switch up.
I love it. I love the fact that it's all him. I think he separated himself from his peers with that album.
I love it from an artistic standpoint that it's like you pretty much made a classic album by yourself. Not too many guys can do that, and so that's special. But Mike, it's not. You don't ride to that shit, Mike. It's like, think about it. You talking about To Pimp a Butterfly right now, part of why you played it is because it was a 6-year anniversary. It ain't no shit you thinking about playing the way you thinking about playing Aquemini. Like, Mike, I heard Mamacita and I was like, we gonna go from the top of Hold On, Be Strong all the way to Chunky Fire.
Hey, yeah,
Because
y'all scared's one of my
Mama,
favorites on there too.
because Mama Cita, which is track 11 on Equipment, I made me feel that way when it came up
Yeah.
on Shuffle. To Pimp a Butterfly don't have that, and so even though on an artistic level, it's right there with all of those classics, Mike. On that playability, it's not there. Good Kid, Mad City is that album.
Chris
And he's still
says,
rhyming.
has anyone heard of De La Soul? Yeah, I think.
Unless I did say De La, but let's keep in mind too, Mike. Good Kid, Mad City is conceptually designed with skits too. And I think the skits on Good Kid, Mad City are better because they're more personalized and they feel more real and they feel more attached to the story. He didn't have to try as hard. Yeah, it's more seamless. It's not like, Mike, when you're saying it's theater, understand it's a stage and it's a production. It's put together. Good Kid, Mad City feels organic. That's why I call it the West Kid Illmatic. It's like, oh no, that's the kid in Compton with the gift that's seeing everything that's going on, and he's getting his hands dirty too, but really he's setting the scene for you.
I disagree with you. I think that the skits on Good Kid, Mad City sound way more unnatural. Like even the whole "Call Me on Tamika's Phone,"
Mike,
all that stuff. It sounded like poor acting, man.
His mom and his pops is talking. You don't feel that?
It's over theatrical to me.
When his mom is talking at the end of Reel, you don't feel that?
Yeah. I'm talking about more so at the end of
That's part of it, man.
I'm talking about at the end of shit. What's the name of that song? Is it the end of Money Trees or before Money Trees? It's right before Money Trees. Where they talking about the spades and all that stuff, man. Like the dominoes. Yeah, that skit. It's like that skit sounds over theatrical and not great acting, and so I mean it sounds unnatural. I would say. I think that.
Mike, you're bugging. Mike, you're bugging. You're bugging right now. You got it. Yeah, you got it backwards, Mike.
De La Soul is Dead is up there too as far as like if we talk about continuity. And an album that flows in that way. De
La Soul is Dead. Not 3 Feet High and Rising, but De La Soul is
Dead. De La
Dead.
Soul is Dead is fucking brilliant. But you know what? That's one of my favorite hip hop albums ever too, man. Like Prince Paul.
So you like those content theatrical pieces?
I do. I think, and again, we look at Prince Paul. You remember when he did Honor Amongst Thieves? Not Honor Amongst Thieves. What was it called? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
That was theatrical. You know what I'm saying? Like Prince Paul.
It was a whole movie. I think that was first. That was hip hop's first like symphony or opera for music.
Yeah, it was. Prince
like
Paul is.
I feel like it's Den of Thieves. Is it called Den of Thieves? Prince Paul. I know what you're talking about, Mike. That was a dope ass album.
That shit was crazy. Prince Among Thieves. That's what it was. But
Prince Among Thieves.
Amazing.
No,
Prince Paul is that dude, man.
No, artistically speaking, that was really, really dope because I think he was like playing himself like he was a '70s hustler.
Yeah,
I think was the story. Yeah, the story was he was a '70s hustler, and the album unfolded of what happened to the hustler through the tales of the game. Yeah, that shit was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ahead.
Yeah,
that was a. How about this, Mike? That would be a 4 out of 5 to me. I remember Prince of Thieves. I would call that a 4 out of 5.
I think that Prince Paul is incredible producer, man. Definitely the most slept on producer in hip hop, in my opinion. But yeah, so I would say that if we're talking about theatrics and flow, and because De La Soul brought skits to the game, let's just keep it real. I think that and I think that those works would probably rival what Kendrick did on To Pimp a Butterfly. I really think that Outkast, Tribe gets a lot of credit for influencing Outkast, as they should, but I think that Outkast is a lot more De La Soul influenced than people realize, conceptually. Then we talk about those different themes with albums and how they approached albums. That's very De La Soul-esque. De La Soul was switching it up every album.
No, okay. So let me say something to you. There is something about De La Soul doing it that feels like a conscious effort to switch it up. There's something about Outkast that feels organic to the lifestyle changes on both sides.
Yeah. Definitely.
The organic of it.
I think we got to know the individuals more in Outkast too.
That's what I mean. It feels more organic. It feels more personalized. You know?
Yeah. I mean, Dre's change was drastic and huge for the group. I know I talk a lot of stuff about 3000. I love 3000. It's one of my favorites ever. But his individual growth had a lot to do with those drastic changes that Outkast had and the balance that people believed in Big Boy to keep it consistent in that way. And they knew that Big Boy somehow wouldn't allow Dre to go too far, and he was able to adjust. I think that was part of the magic of it all, too. People trusted that. I don't think that Dre would have been able to do all those changes, those drastic changes by himself and still keep the fan base. But I think that the collective were able to keep that base because there was another member in the group who was still staying, grounded to what they remembered the most from that group, if that makes any sense.
I mean, Mike, to quote you properly, I mean, we haven't heard a song from Dre with 3 verses by himself with a hook, so we don't know what the response or the reception would be without Big Boy.
That's true.
Like to this day, Mike, you have to understand there are a lot of people that feel like he's the best MC ever, but we don't know what he looks like standing alone, and that's where you're right, and that's where I kind of like had to give that to you, because it's like at the point was people was telling me, it's like, nah, cool, but he better than Nas, like he better than Big, he better than Jay, like he better than Pac. I'm like, hold on.
Somebody asked me today.
I didn't say that. It's like I didn't say that. I said he was my personal favorite. Like him and Nas and Pusha, like Andre, Nas, and Pusha T are probably my 3 personal favorites.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm objective. It's like, I don't have like Pusha T in my top 5. I have him like barely in the top 10, and that's mostly because of Daytona. I had Dre at 5 or 6 a lot until you and me just got fluid with these. Mike, it took me years to pivot and hear what you were saying. 2 or 3 years.
It takes a lot of people. It took me years. It took me years.
No, Mike, I'm going to tell you what the turning point was. It was those days that I sat down and I listened to Nas and Rakim's solo catalog.
Yeah.
Like their solo songs. I'm like, they got more verses in like 7 or 8 songs than this dude's done in like Outkast catalog.
Yep.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. Yeah. Nas got more verses on It Was Written. Like Nas's verses on It Was Written, if you count the verses, that's almost all of Andre's verses on Outkast's first 3 albums.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Keith has been telling me this for years, that, Andre, as an individual, he can't even be put up against some of these people. He just don't have the work. And, and I was like other Andre fans, like, I wasn't trying to hear it because he was one of my favorite rappers. But when you start putting rubber to the road, it is what it is, man. He just doesn't have that. And the thing is, somebody asked me at the barbershop today, they was like, who's a better duo, Outkast or Method Man and Redman? And I was like, well, as a duo, Outkast, right?
The answer is neither. The answer is neither is Ray and Ghost.
Anyway, I said Outkast, right? And I guess the person that was with, the Method Man and Redman person was like, well, I guess they wanted to break it down like individual, right? And I was like, okay, if you're asking me individual MCs, I'm going Redman, and I would have to go Meth, just because of the lack of material for Dre as an individual, and then I might go Dre Big Boy. I don't know, but if you're asking me all 4 of those guys on one song, who's coming out with the best verse, that's a different conversation.
Let's back up. I think we just found ourselves a new healthy conversation. Mm-hmm. Is Method Man's not up to par for who he as an MC material, although he has valid and verifiable material, superseded by Dre's stellar group classic material? What supersedes what? Because Meth's got the material, but Dre's got the classic group material, and a lot of people...
Meth got the classic group material, too.
Ooh.
So,
very fair.
Yeah,
actually,
no.
Mike,
I'm going Method Man.
How about this, Mike? You want to know what I just thought about? You're right about that, too, because Method Man's performances on Wu-Tang Project and on Classic Wu-Tang Project, those performances more epic than Andre's performance on Outkast albums. Go see Cream and Ice Cream.
Yeah.
Those are hooks. Those are hooks, and he's epic. It's hard to be epic on a hook, Mike.
Let's keep it real.
How hard? No, I don't think people understand how hard it is for you to be epic on a hook. You got like 10, 20 seconds to buy people in. That's a hard buy-in.
Method Man's on Ready to Die, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing too.
Yes, he is. It's a great performance.
Yeah.
Great performance.
Yeah, and the fact that, like you said, when you talk about hooks, man, like Andre, what important Outkast hooks is Dre on? Miss Jackson? Miss Jackson doesn't hold a candle to Ice Cream or Cream.
I told you, Mike, those might be the two best rap hooks ever, and they're by the same guy.
Yeah, Method Man, you know what? I hate to say this. It is what it is. Method Man is better than Andre. Now, as far as Method Man and Redman, I would. Chris said Method Man's better than Red. I would have to put Redman ahead, though.
Hold on. Let's go back, though. I think Method Man Andre is actually a fair conversation, but here's what I would tell you. Method Man's one classic away from jumping over Redman.
What Method Man has over...
No. I want you to understand. That's how dope and epic Meth is.
Yeah.
With literally everything in his catalog.
I agree.
Except the classic album. Meth has everything in his catalog that you want except the classic album. You want all-time great rap singles? Oh, well, he's got that. He's got Bring the Pain and I'll Be There For You and How High. He's got 3 of them.
You know what? How High changed my life, man. That's one of those songs.
Changed my life. Mike, when they got together and did that, have you ever heard some shit like that?
Yo, when I heard that...
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, murder one lyric at your door. The cow, bring it to that ass raw. Breaking all the rules like glass jaw. Nigga, you gotta get mine.
Chris says Redman shit is dated. That's a good conversation to have. Is Redman's classic material dated? What would he say?
Who said that?
Chris said Redman shit's dated.
Better stop that.
I don't think Muddy Waters is dated. Now maybe there's a dark side, and maybe.
What year was that Redman jumped up on the cipher and did the best verse we had ever heard on the cipher? What year was that? Was that like 2017 or 18? The Def Squad cipher with Meth?
Oh yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah, no, that's the best verse in the history of that cipher. Wasn't that like 2, 3, 4 years ago? Ain't shit dated about Red.
You think Meth? No, he talking about Red's material is dated.
No, Mudface is dope.
Huh?
Mudface.
I'm talking about his classic material. Like,
no,
how well did Redman's albums age?
Ooh,
that's the question.
I don't think What the album aged well, but I wasn't a big fan of that album.
Me either, actually.
And I feel like it was a transitional time in hip hop. And what really happened with Redman with that album was that he was something new and literally funky. And so he garnered a lot of buzz for that. I don't feel like the material backed it. There Is the Dark Side is a really dope album. I still maintain that to this day. I never thought it was great or a classic. I thought it was a really dope album. And so he made a really dope album. I think what happened is because the album got 5 mics in the source.
No, it didn't.
It didn't? Yeah. I think a lot of people look at What the album like it was a classic. And so it got he got a lot of unfair attention. And then he dropped There Is a Dark Side, which I feel like was a better album, but it wasn't as well received. But Muddy Waters is that shit, Mike.
Muddy Waters is the shit. I think we all can agree on that.
Muddy Waters is a top 5. Muddy Waters is a top 5 rap album from a top 3 rap year.
What do you think about? Because Chris is saying that What the album is cartoonish, while Tikal he can rock right now. Like, do you think that Tikal over time has aged better than Redman's first 2 albums?
Mike, where are you at, Mike? We had a podcast 2 or 3 months ago when I said like Cal has actually aged very well, and when you listen to it now, it's really doper than how we originally perceived it.
Yeah.
Its biggest problem was that listen to the albums that came after it. Return to the 36 immediately after it. Return to
Yeah.
the 36 Chamber, the dirty version, only built for Cuban links, Liquid Swords, Iron Man, Wu-Tang Forever. The album that preceded it is Enter the Wu-Tang. So we're talking about hip-hop all-time classics and one really, really great album that's also a classic. And so when
Okay.
his shit didn't match up to that, I think we downplayed it more than we should have. I can't lie, Mike. I was in the car today stuck in traffic a lot of the time. Meth vs. Chef came on. I loved that shit, and I played that shit. Tikal has held up well.
Yeah.
I played Biscuits last week. I played PLO style the week before.
Yeah.
I'll Be There For You. Bring the Pain.
Mm-hmm.
Method Man Remix.
Yeah.
No, Tikal is a dope album. I believe it got 4 mics. It deserved 4 mics. It's a 4-mic album.
Yeah.
Because he's Method Man, and we look at him, and people forget this. When Method Man came out, we looked at him the way we looked at Nas, the way we looked at Big, the way we looked at Pop. And so when there's no Me Against the World or All Eyes on Me or Ready to Die or Life After Death or Illmatic or It Was Written, that's what downgraded him. His peers in his class made all-time classic material, and he just made a really dope album.
All right, so if we're counting that, and we're counting his, his appearance on 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang Forever, are you putting Method Man ahead of Redman?
I told you, Mike. No, I have Redman, I think, like 11th or 12th, like all time.
Why do you have Redman ahead of Method Man? Muddy Waters? Is that it?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? And hold on, Mike. And the Def Squad album. That Def Squad album is very slept on. That was a great album.
Yeah. Liquid Swords is a classic, yes.
Hold on. So listen, so what do you want for Redman? Like, he's got hit records. He's got brand appeal.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely a top-notch lyricist. He's got a classic album. He's got classic guest appearances. If I'm not mistaken, in 1995, his last verse on How High was the verse of the year.
Yeah. Does he have the longevity that Method Man has given
You want to
us?
know what he is for me? Like, if you're talking about 1990s MCs, if we're going top 5, he's probably 4 or 5. He's my power forward in the lineup. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that's how tough Redman is. And Meth never made Muddy Waters. Mike, Muddy Waters and Doc's the Name and There Is a Dark Side are all better than Tikal, probably. Definitely Muddy Waters and Doc's the Name.
And you know what I loved on Doc's the Name, man? The goodness was crazy, man.
The goodness is bananas with Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, man.
The goodness is crazy.
Stepped out just to kill. Spark the L. What up, Doc? What the deal? Cop the squill for MC Overkill.
That's Busta's best feature nobody talks about.
Yeah, jumping out planes. Doc's the Name. Cock the flame.
Yeah, I'll Be That is on there. I'll Be That might be the biggest single in his career. So Doc's the Name and Muddy Waters is what has like Red at like 12 and Meth at like 20, 21, 22, 23. But Method Man is the type of MC that if he make the classic project, much like Pusha T, it's like, no. Top 10 that guy.
Method Man can't. And that's funny. At 50 years old, I think Method Man can make a classic album.
How about this? If I got Pusha T at number 9, I'm going to tell you something. And like I said, my favorite MCs, personally, are Nas, Andre, and Pusha T. If we're talking about volume of music, and the guys that I really love to listen to.
Yeah.
If Method Man make a classic album, I'm putting him ahead of Push. So he going to be like 8 or 7. That's how dope Meth is. That's what the rest of Meth catalog look like. Meth has everything else in his catalog but the classic album.
Well, speaking of this.
He was always a top 5 greatest MC. Like, Method Man is a greatest MC of all time talent. I don't think people understand.
Yeah, no, definitely.
They go talent.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have no problem if he makes a classic album. It's like saying that he's better than about 10 or 12 guys that are ahead of him, which will put him around 8, 9, 10 on my list.
Let's look at Common, right? Like,
ain't he on All Eyes on Me? Got my mind made up? Ain't that Redman and Meth on there?
Yeah, they on there. Look, let's look at somebody like Common, right, who has a longevity catalog, very extensive catalog, a diverse catalog. There are just certain things that Method Man as an MC, like you said, as a talent, encompasses that somebody like Common just doesn't have.
No, Common doesn't have that. And as much as I love Common, and Common's an all-time great MC, So let's go back to the whole Black Thought thing when Black Thought showed up against Meth, and that's what I was trying to explain to dude. It's like, okay, you're talking about a number 1, 2, or 3 guy versus like a 7, 8, 9, or 10 guy. Understand what it takes to be 1, 2, or 3 on the list when you're hearing Thought.
Right.
That doesn't. But understand, like Mike Katz would have listened to Meth, you would have been like, no, that's a 7, 8, 9, 10 guy. Like,
but at the end of the day, Black Thought can't make Bring the Pain. It's just what it is.
Not a chance. Or I'll be there for you, Mike.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
So, Mike, when I'm doing my list, if I'm not mistaken, I think I got Thought at 8 and Pusha T at 9. I got Meth at like 21, 22 with a classic album, Mike. Oh, jump.
Well, you know what? I think this is a good segue because I know we got to get out of here.
I'll put him ahead of both of those guys about everything else that he's done. Listen to what I'm saying. I put him ahead of Thought and Pusha T about everything else that he's done. Mike, Cream, Ice Cream, Wu Gambinos.
And that's a great segue into the verses. Tomorrow we got Ghostface and Raekwon's verses. What do you expect to see in this verses? Since we're talking Wu-Tang stuff.
It's Wu-Tang forever, Mike.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be I'm tuned.
I'm kind of ambivalent about this, about the fuckery that we talked about last week, because it's like literally have two of my favorite guys.
Yeah.
Like I love Ray and I love Ghost, Mike. Like I told you, like I have Ray and Ghost.
Ghost is my favorite rapper.
Mike, like I said, every time Raekwon talk about Ghost, he put up the GOAT symbol.
I want to hear one. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear a bunch of Supreme Clientele.
I was actually thinking, you want to know what came in the car the other day? So, you know, like after I made my moves, I picked the girls up, my daughter and my niece. We went shopping, Mike. And I'm mindful about what I play for them, even though they're 14 and 15 now. And I know they hear everything and listen to everything. And I done played shit for them and ran it back and be like, yo, you know what they talking about? Whatever. But, Mike, Iron Maiden came on today. And they was in the car. And I turned that shit up because I love me some Iron Maiden. Yeah. I love Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden's one of RZA's best beats. It's, for me personally, no Wu-Tang album starts off better than Iron Maiden. Like the intro to Iron Man and Iron Maiden, that's the best start off to a Wu-Tang album. That and Liquid Swords. Those are the two best start offs.
Shimmy. Yeah. They come strong when they come out.
Old Dirty has like a 3-minute intro. That's why I'm saying. Like when Iron Man starts off, it starts with, what you doing on our turf, punk? And it's like a little skit.
Yeah.
Then it goes to that shit crazy. That's one of RZA's best beats. I want to hear Iron Maiden.
You probably will.
I want to hear the MGM.
Oh, yeah. That'd be cool. God. And they'll go back and forth and all that. You're MGM. Older Gods is the shit. I was gonna quote that on one.
Gods is the best song on disc 1. Older Gods is the best song on disc 1 on Wu-Tang Forever. RZA Ghost Jizza.
No. I mean, I love that record. But Scary Hours is.
The beat's better on Scary Hours. That's Ray Ghost and Meth, but Older Gods not better because of the hook. The hook on Older Gods is what takes
I roll like a bat out of hell, evil like a pale, fly spitting out of my grill.
I remember in the 162. Like, no.
Method Man's verse on there was mean. I remember sticking feeds.
Hold on, Mike, it's only Method Man's verse that makes it a conversation between Older Gods and Scary Hours.
No. You know how, like, when, what's the song?
Older God put me on how to rock this, maintain.
It's the dope record. I love Older Gods, but
Older God.
The way the Scary Hours starts out.
Now the lesbians, Mike.
Yo, man, the way the Scary Hours starts though, like at the end.
Shake the niggas.
Scary, like Raekwon just fell into that track and he was going.
Mike, it's like he rolled out of bed and started rhyming.
That shit was crazy, man. Like, and then like if you listen to Heaven's Sake, like all the way at the end where you hear the sample coming, it's like that shit is crazy. I'm gonna listen to that as soon as we get out of here.
Heaven's Sake is great because of Deck's verse. Deck and Ghost to the Stars on Wu-Tang Forever. But Scary Hours and Older God, Mike. I got Older God at 1, Scary Hours at 2.
Whew.
So I want to hear both of those. Let me, can we get
Yeah.
into our purple tape shit?
What do you want to say about the purple tape?
Ray has to play Incarcerated Scarfaces and Live from New York and Sneakers by Pete Rock to make this more even, because Ghost is gonna pull shit out, Mike. And here's what I mean. I'm gonna tell you why I like Fish Scale, because Ghost is dope without Ray on Fish Scale. He's got the champ on there.
Yeah. I mean, Ghost has been dope without Ray a few times. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, Ray's not all over Supreme Clientele like that either.
But Mike, that's the only time. So we know we're gonna get one. What else are we gonna get off Supreme Clientele?
You're probably gonna get Mighty Healthy.
You're not gonna get Mighty Healthy, Mike.
Why not? Why not? Because Kanye remade it. You remember that?
I'm telling you right now.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Supreme Clientele is concerned, you're only gonna hear Shay Shay Lagos.
Yeah.
In one.
Hey, yo, crash through, break the glass, Tony with the Goldie mask.
Maybe we made it. We made it.
Those
tracks you love off Supreme Clientele, those are hip hop head tracks. That's why it's like, nah, Ray still got a shot. Incarcerated Scarfaces, Live from New York, Sneakers. You know,
Spot Rushers. Spot
Rushers is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
They might play Spot Rushers and Wisdom Body back to back. Those tracks are back to back on the purple tape.
Yeah.
12 and 13.
Who's gonna play? Well, I guess he has the purple tape, so he could play Verbal Intercourse.
Want to know what else came on today? What's that track from Bulletproof Wallets that got meth on it?
Oh, I thought you were talking about. You talking about the one that they remade, that they had to remake because of the sample?
Yes.
What's the name of that song?
You have to watch?
Oh no, that's not what I'm thinking about.
I'm talking Bulletproof Wallets.
I'm thinking about Flowers.
Yes, no, Flowers.
Okay.
Flowers is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Ghost should play Flowers.
Yeah.
Ghost should play Flowers.
The original one. Because the one that made the album was not it. Yeah.
Yes, no.
But who gets to play? Who gets to play Good Times? You remember that?
Yeah.
Shit.
That's very
interesting. Shit. Come on, man. Ghost's catalog is too deep, man. Like those, I don't know if you heard the Hidden Darts joints, but yeah.
Like here's what I'm trying to tell you, and listen to what I'm about to say. Ray's Ace in the Hole, where he might fade Ghost, and it's about to fuck your day up, Mike.
Cream.
He about to fade. No. Guest appearances. He got Cream. Yeah. Cream is gonna fade Ghost, but he's got the guest appearance, Mike.
He does.
He got Bulletproof Wallets. He got Gorgeous off My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got Blind Threats with Schoolboy Q. Ray got the guest appearances.
He do.
Ghost don't do guest appearances like that. And Ray's guest appearances are pretty epic, Mike.
Yeah, they're very consistent. Oh,
and also, too, he's got Rich and Black in his pocket, which is him and Nas going back and forth without Ghost there. Like on
that song was dope.
Rich and Black is dope.
What about John Blaze?
Mike, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. The guest appearances, Ray got them, and Ray's got a lot of epic guest appearances.
Ray would have to approach this like Jada did his.
Mike, I'm going to tell you something else. Remember how you said those Dre tracks hit different, right? Mm-hmm. Ray got 2 of those in the can that Ghost don't got. He got Catalina and Me Too off the purple tape too, don't he?
Yeah, he does.
Busta Rhymes,
yeah, the purple tape 2 was purple tape 2 was tough, man.
Pyrex Visions, I love Pyrex Visions. The Pyrex is bubbling, like his whole vocal tone, like And
we've never seen Raekwon in a setting like this, but I get the feeling that Raekwon has a very good grasp of his catalog, similar to Snoop. You know?
He does. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Ray's the street dude.
He's going to play the right stuff.
Right. He's going to play the right stuff. Yeah. Ghost better come with his shit.
Yeah.
Ghost better come with his shit.
Yeah.
Ray got enough. I told you, Mike, you think Ghost is your favorite rapper? Most of those songs are with Ray.
A lot of them are.
They
Um,
are.
he could
Clean
play the. I
fish.
love the joint
Walk out the
with
big
Charlie
red towel.
Baltimore too, man. The joint with Charlie Baltimore was crazy.
You know what Ghost needs to play? Like he needs to get in his bag a little bit. Like he needs to play Run.
He's probably gonna play Run.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is. All right, well let's wrap up the show, man. We've been on here
It's
for a
another
minute.
thing, Mike. Who's in Daytona 500? Because Ray got the better verse. Say
Mm.
peace. Rock Mac, knowledges, street astrologists, light up the mic, God knowledges, fly
I
joints like Eric
think. Oh yeah, definitely. Nah, I think Ghost got the weakest verse on that song.
Playing back over the shoulder, chrome tanks, play it like Yanks, check the franchise, front on my guys, my enterprise, crash many lives. What do you say? We shake off fakes like reflectors.
Had sugar in his ear in his last crack career.
We can can him, manhandle him if you wanna. One in his cribbo, kid ditto, skate like a limo, then jet to the fly.
He killed that song.
Break down at 8/5 and wait. Yeah. Ray
Yo, Kappa killed that song too, man. Jeez.
No. Kappa in 95 and 96 was brilliant, which is how he got probably put ahead of Inspector Deck. But that shit still should have never happened. And their run ends when Capadonna drops the pillage. So never forget that.
The Pillages, I agree. I think me and Damaris have talked about that for years. The Pillage is the last Wu-Tang album of that generation. Like, as far as like that hardcore shit, that's the last album.
Here's the problem with the Pillage. The Pillage isn't even fucking with Tikal, so it's by far the weakest project out that era, so it didn't leave a good taste in people's mouth. And that's why they should have dropped Deck. That's why they should have dropped Deck. And Mike, I'm gonna tell you what, when I watched that documentary, when I watched that documentary, and when I listen to how Power talks about how Capadonna is his favorite rapper.
Hey, Kappa's one of my favorites. I'm not mad at that. I like Kappa more than I like Deck, and that's just the truth.
Mike, you and Power and kiss my ass with that shit.
Hey, man. Slang editorial.
Mike, in 1997, the God not fucking with Deck.
Deck's great in the group, but as an individual, give me Kappa.
No, Deck was the best performer on Wu-Tang Forever. Him and Ghostface, it was a tie for me. I would give Deck the edge because of trying.
Method Man did his thing too.
It literally, Deck and Ghost at a tie, then Meth, then Ray. Yeah. All of Jizza's performances were brilliant, but brief. Had he had more performances, would put him ahead of Meth and Ray. Just about his performances when he.
Meth did a lot of good work on there.
No, he did. Yeah. How about this? Meth is actually the glue guy on Wu-Tang Forever.
He is.
Raekwon
is too, man. Raekwon's everywhere on that album. Like, it's not many songs without Ray on it.
Ray is the glue guy on Wu-Tang Clan, so that's unsaid. But Mike, in 1997, when you drop a verse like Triumph that has cats arguing whether it's the best verse they've ever heard in their life, you drop that dude's album. I don't give a fuck what anybody else is talking about.
He obviously wasn't ready, man. I mean,
when a guy starts off a verse saying, I bomb atomically, Socrates' philosophies and high prophecies can't define how I be dropping these mockeries, lyrically performed armed robbery, flee with the lottery, possibly they spotted me. No, Mike, ain't nobody fucking with that.
You know what, Holocaust, similar to that, in that crew, Holocaust dropped one of the greatest verses I've ever heard, and we didn't hear much from him after that. Like, that whole, you're falling down the endless tunnel of doom reality. Graphically, my killer bee family stings the galaxy, insanity, titanium, stomach devouring Guinness. Like, what?
Mike,
my flesh is solid stone despite my outer appearance. Still disease, kill virus and planets and racial creatures, make them seeds spout tumors so bad, lost facial features, waste your people's up out in the rain, fountains of pain, 80 shots to the mouth and the brain, shouting my name, Holocaust. Black man whose veins slither with thorns, rap smack you so hard all your seeds to be born to form. Swarm dorm, thing words, fling words like ringworm, strike three, mics flee, I infect them with green germs, ringworms. What? Because I'm filthy and guilty, dastardly, masterly. My felony melody has to be a bastard's masterpiece. Stop grafting me. Chump ass niggas, eyeing me, tempt me. That verse is better than the Triumph verse. It is what it is.
Hold on, Mike. if you're talking inherently, yes, but then you're getting into a conversation about underground rap and verses that are better than certain verses. But
It's
here's what I'm gonna tell you.
not
My
many better
cousin,
than that one.
no. Listen, my big cousin Mario M6, who taught me how to rap, who taught me everything that I know, where I get my whole like when I'm talking, Mike, like you just hearing a version of my cousin. You're hearing the arrogant version of my cousin, actually. That might be his favorite rap verse ever that didn't come from Redman or Busta Rhymes. He swears by that shit.
I think it's the best rap verse I've ever heard.
No, Mike.
So that's
He
why when
swears
people
by that.
talk the Triumph stuff, I get it because Triumph was on
I got,
a record
got in that
that
nigga
had a lot
car
of
for like
people
3
on it.
months. Like, when that shit dropped, I got in this nigga car for like 3 months straight, and that verse was on when that shit got when I got in the car.
I mean, really, the Ghostface verse that spawned the idea of according to hip hop in itself is on that song. Like that whole "Who Shot JJ?" Mudbone, same nigga riding the train. Like that was the first according to hip hop trivia question.
Really?
So yeah. So just the whole concept of according to hip hop came from that Ghost verse, and that verse kills that verse. So I'm sorry. I thought I've told that story before.
I get the fundamental and technical part of it, Mike. It's like nobody's taking that over verbal intercourse of Triumph or lyrics of Fury or I Never Seen a Man Die or Children's Story or Shook One's Part 2.
I think it's because of who the guys are.
Mike, here's what I mean. So let's talk about something. So we started off earlier where you brought up the cow. I'll listen to the cow a million times before I listen to that verse from Holocaust, because even though that's technically and fundamentally sound, I can go get that shit from Nas and Rakim. That shit that Conway provided on the cow is some shit that you gotta feel, and it's lyrically intact. It's hard to fuck.
I'll put it this way: it didn't matter who was on that song. Holocaust with that verse was walking away with the best verse, and the proof is in the pudding, because Ghostface was on there with an epic verse. RZA did his thing on there. Doc Doom did too. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter who was on that record.
Is that Prime Ghost?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Mike.
Yeah.
No, Mike.
Yeah, it was. No. That was 98.
It matters. No, that's not Prime Ghost.
What's Prime Ghost? Like, hold on. That was 98, 99-ish. Yeah, that was Prime Ghost. It didn't matter. It could have been Prime whoever. That verse right there was unbeatable. It's what it is.
No. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's a.
Mike, but I could go to RZA's verse on Fourth Chamber. He said a lot of the similar things.
No, not like that.
Mike, he used the acronym to end the verse. Like the degree of difficulty of using the acronym to end the verse is more difficult than anything Holocaust did on that track. If you want to be technical about it, protons, electrons always cause explosion. Peace.
That verse is nowhere near the. I say that respectfully. I love that verse, but that verse is nowhere near.
You already got your wife and children.
Yeah, it's a dope verse, but that Holocaust verse.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Ask your man. That verse is crazy, man.
The year 2002, the battle still with the woo.
Love that verse.
From the bubonic flow, under the Ebola virus, under the reign of King Cyrus. You can see the weakness of a man right through his iris.
Incredible. And that's the other thing about Ghost too, man. Like Ghost has been on records where people have had some of the most technical, incredible verses, and he still was a standout. He still was a standout on Triumph.
No, Mike, first of all, no, that's not all the way true. He's not a standout on Guillotine. He's not a standout on Triumph. Those are two of the best Wu-Tang cuts ever.
He's not a standout on Guillotine.
He's not a standout on Protect Your Neck. That's not. Let's call it a spade.
Yeah.
No, he's the best rapper out of that crew, all things considered, but mostly because of his catalog. But let's not act like he's the dude in the front all the time. Like, that was the thing. Wu-Tang Forever was really his coming all the way out party. Like, I love me some Iron Man.
Yeah.
But it's, like you said,
it was
Raekwon's
Wu-Tang.
a better rapper. Hold on, Mike. In 1996, Raekwon's a better rapper than Ghost on Iron Man.
Yeah.
Mike, you go to 1997, don't Ghost sound better than Ray a year later?
Yeah. Yeah, the baton was passed, and, I think he kind of he's been the best Wu-Tang member since. But we can end on that note. We're like 2 hours in, bro.
He went to Benin, Africa.
Huh?
He went to Benin, Africa. Him and RZA went to Benin before Supreme Clientele.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, to get healed.
Hmm. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
incredible album. Well,
Benin is a place of witchcraft mostly, though, Mike. But he got healed. I just don't know what healed him.
that's interesting. What
Yeah,
you?
go look up Benin, Africa. That's actually
Okay.
the witchcraft center of the world, actually.
Wow. So they went out there before Supreme Clientele. That's interesting.
Yeah, Ghost was actually about to die, Mike. Ghost was sick, and he went to
Mm.
Benin, and he got healed. But Benin is full of witch doctors.
Mm.
They do ancient ceremonials praying to other gods and idols every year. It's very fascinating how what came to be. So he came back from Benin with a yeah.
Wow.
It's just I'm Mike. I'm always digging. I'm taking more than a rhyme, but I can't even lie. Just I mean, you know what my personal shit looked like. I don't like that he went to Benin, Africa. He got healed because ain't no healing there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, go look it up.
Yeah, I'll look that up. All right, y'all. Yeah. Well, great show.
Look, you can pray to different things, and they'll motherfucking give you what you want. All right.
All right. Well, versus tomorrow, we're probably gonna broadcast it on According to Hip Hop, and man, shit, man, I will holler at you. And I'm
interested in the track list. It's gonna be the most interesting track listing of all the verses about the volume of material done together.
Definitely. All right. Yeah. Well, tomorrow we speak.